Hello, great champions. Welcome to another amazing topic on social studies. Hope you had a great day. Please ensure that your notes and pen are with you to jot down important points. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the lesson. In today's lesson, we are going to study the topic emergency management. We are going to look at the following lesson objectives that by the end of the lesson, you should be able to define emergency management, define disaster management, define emergency management very well, state the vision of emergency management, state the principles of emergency management, state the mission of emergency management, list the types or examples of hazards, and finally state the appropriate response to emergency management. So let's start with the definition of emergency management. Emergency management can be defined as the managerial function charged with creating the framework within which communities reduce vulnerability to hazards and cope with diseases. Let's also look at the definition of disaster management. Disaster management can also be defined as the creation of plans through which communities reduce vulnerability to hazards and cope with disasters. Then also let's look at the vision of emergency management. Emergency management seeks to promote safer, less vulnerable communities with the capacity to cope with hazards and disasters. Mission of emergency management. Emergency management protects communities by coordinating and integrating all activities necessary to build, sustain, and improve the capacity of the community. Principles of emergency management. 1. Comprehensive. Emergency managers consider and take into account all hazards, all places, and all stakeholders, and all impacts relevant to disaster. 2. Progressive. The managers anticipate future disasters and take preventive and preparatory measures to build disaster resistant and disaster resilient communities. 3. Risk drive. Emergency managers use sound risk management principles, hazards identification, risks analysis, and impact analysis in assisting priorities and responses. Then let's look at number 4. Integrated. Emergency managers ensure unity of efforts among all levels of government and all elements of the community. Then we have number 5 as collaboration. Emergency managers create and sustain broad and sincere relationships among individuals and organizations to encourage trust, advocate team, atmosphere, build consensus, and facilitate communication. Then we also have coordinated. Emergency managers synchronize the activities of all relevant stakeholders to achieve a common purpose. We also have number 7 as flexibility or flexible. Emergency managers are creative and innovative. They create innovative and create approaches in solving disaster challenges. 8. Professional or professionalism. Emergency managers value a science and knowledge-based approach on education, training, experience, ethical practice, continuous improvement. Then let's look at the following examples of hazards. Emergencies are incidents that threaten public safety, health, and welfare. The following are examples of hazards. 1. We have hurricanes. 2. Cyclones. 3. Thunderstorms. 4. Lightning. 5. Hailstorms. 6. Tornadoes. 7. Windstorms. 8. Cold or exposure. 9. Erosion. 10. Droughts. 11. Volcanic. 12. Earthquakes. 13. Tsunamis. 14. Volcanoes. 15. Wildfire. 16. Animal or insect infection. 17. Accident. 18. Dam or level failure. 19. Building collapse. 20. Bridge collapse. Fire, oil spillage, and so on. Then let's look at the appropriate responses to emergency management. We have 4. One of them is preparation or preparedness. These are activities prior or before a disaster. Having an emergency preparedness plan in place is very important to the survival of a business or organization. Consider how a natural, human cause or public health disaster such as pandemic flu events could affect your employees, customers, and workplace. Would business operations continue? Emergency managers develop plan of action to manage and counter their risk or take actions to build the necessary capabilities. Then let's look at preparation or preparedness tips. 1. Know your region and the type of disaster most likely to have an impact on your business or organization. 2. Assess the capability of your employees to prepare for and respond to an emergency. 3. Identify internal and external emergency response resources that will provide assistance during a disaster or emergency. Example, local and state police, fire department, etc. Let's look at the second one, response. Response are activities during a disaster. They are actions you should take in emergency situations. The following things should be noted during emergency. A. Evacuate. When building alarm sounds, leave the building immediately. Do not use the elevators. Assist the disabled. Take valuables and cell phones. Seek or shelter in a place. Enter a safe place in the building. Seek interior rooms away from doors and windows. Listen for instructions. When giving the order to lock down, lock doors, close blinds, turn off lights, and listen for instructions. Then let's look at the third one, which is recovery. These are actions taken to recover from an emergency or disaster. This involves restoring critical functions, manage stabilization, return to normalcy, seek funding for damages, rebuilding destroyed property, re-employment, and the repair of other essential infrastructures. Example, temporary building, grants, long-term medical care, and counseling. Then we are going to look at the last response, which is mitigation. These are activities that reduce the effects of a disaster. They are also attempts to prevent hazards from developing into disasters or to reduce the effects of disasters. Mitigation also refers to reducing the chance of an emergency happening or to reduce the damaging effects of unavoidable emergencies. Example, building codes, zoning, vulnerability analysis, public education, and so on. Hope you have enjoyed the class. Thanks for watching. See you in the next class. Goodbye for now.